how many times would you have had a training ground scrap? Especially you, like I remember, watching in Lions training.
Very rare for a 10 to be
very rare. But no, but you'd be there, putting it in there. Being competitive, leading from the front, demanding standards. That can spill over, especially with your own teammates.
But like I only put in the arguments that I was in. I don't talk about anyone else's arguments.
No.
But they were like loads of them.
I
I remember there was one, Stuart Lancaster, he was new and he couldn't believe like the amount of fighting that was going on. And he sent 2 lads off. I won't mention names because I don't like.
What does it rhyme with? We always do rhymes with. Drino Bosco.
They're both forwards. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And he said, right, around the post, calm down, and come back. And they were like chatting to each other, running like around the post, and they were mouthing off. And then they got to the post and they just started. And we were like, the whole team had to run up and like break it up. And Stuart was like, what the hell have I got myself in for?
So that was when he first came to Leinster. Because if you. That's what, again, when you see with when I saw with Johnny in Lions training stuff was the demanding of standards. So like you run a line, we've talked about it, you where the fuck are you? You've forgotten it. You're standing out the wing and you aren't paying attention, or your wing hasn't come off to work. You're going to bollock them. Or you get a bad pass from scrum half. You're going to fucking say, we're here to have that competitive nature. If you don't like that, you'll kick off. So you'll not only have drama with your own teammates, it'll spill over in training. And I love that Stuart came over because he's got that sort of, he's got a very nice man, Stuart. He's got that sort of idea where everyone's going to get on. To come into an environment where you're driving the standards and everyone's been fucking chippy, he must have had an absolute meltdown.
But it's also, I find it easier with people that you like and the mates to wind them up on a pitch because you know what the response is going to be, and that's the response you want to get. So I think it's just a unique sport for that.
You ever started something that you wish you hadn't? Like with someone on, like one day you've given it large, go, I'll fucking do it. Oh my God, he's heard me.
Too many times.
What percentage of your scraps did you win?
So you see, it's easy to scrap on the pitch because you know the boys are going to break it up.
You and his army. It's interesting you mentioned Stuart Lancaster. There's a very interesting book in a bit in the book where you talk about psychometric testing under Stuart Lancaster that gave you the following feedback on your leadership. When communicating with Jonathan, do not try and control the conversation, underestimate his ability to decide for himself, criticise his ideas or take issue with his ideas, try to manipulate his point of view, wait for praise or recognition. Where do you bury your bodies? That's quite a sort of...
when I wrote
it doesn't reflect well.
When I wrote that down, I was like, ooh, Paul Spector from The Fall, Jamie Dornan's character. How many of you actually murdered?
Do you recognise that, though?
Well, I didn't at the time.
Right. Well, there you go. So you don't criticise his ideas or manipulate what it is.
But you learn, like, don't you? Like, I was always very, obsessed because the book.
It's fine, perfect.
About getting better at rugby, like getting better kicking, better passing, getting better in the gym, even though I didn't ever manage to do it.
Shoulders are going well.
I was going to wear pads today when I was in here with you.
82 shoulders, lads, get him in.
So where was I? So I was always very, very, conscious of that. But no one ever kind of challenged me on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So that's the, I suppose, the interesting part of the story is, a lot of the conflicts, they sort of left towards the end of my career, I would say. There's still little moments, but they weren't anything like the start. And that's what I wanted to show. That's the reason for putting it in, is to show, like, I kind of regret a lot of it. Like, I regret the amount of it. I maybe didn't need to do it. But at the time, I kind of thought this is just the way you do it.
Yeah.
This is just what you do. And that was based on the people that I had admired growing up, the people that I had watched in other sports. You know what I mean?
You talk about admiring Roy Keane, Alex Ferguson, Michael Checker. There's a theme developing there.
Yeah, well, that's
and your
that's
dad.
my point.
There's a describe your dad. It says fiery Kerryman with a short fuse. Is that fair?
Well, that's yeah.
Good.
But
Good role models for a calm and peaceful life.
That's just what it was. You know what I mean? That just shows the sort of the influences that I had were this way. So that rubs off on me, but it also solidifies it. This is the way to do it. This is the way to lead. This is the way to act. So it's a mixture of things. So it's all their fault, really.
Did you look? Because I remember I looked for chips on my shoulder or people criticising. Because then I think you always, if you're of a certain mindset, play better when there's that side of proving people wrong. Was that something you looked for? You look at Michael Jordan, he always talked about that. He'd try and find someone who turned something that opposition coaches say as a snub, so then he'd raise his game. Was that something you always looked for as well? Yeah,
I didn't always search for it, but it didn't take much for it to happen. And that would be, that drove me. The things, it's mad, because the things that used to drive me were the things that might have happened, like being left out of a team 4 years previously. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was like, it's just the way I was wired. And
I carried not
not
getting picked in like under 15s North. To like that.
I imagine you just carried from being from the North as a way of fucking.
I always had a history of being grumpy, but yeah, I agree.